Today is a new day to start again. Take each moment one by one and do the best you can. Yesterday doesn't matter, it only serves as a ladder. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed, so make your plans accordingly. Today is a new day to start again. Take each moment one by one and do the best you can. Grand Rising, today is a new day to start again. It is 3/14/2025. A total eclipse of the heart. So there was an eclipse last night, and it was a lunar eclipse. I got out to watch the very first part of it, and it was very cool looking. And but I was not feeling well. Like I had to force myself to get up and go out there at first part because I knew it went off around 12. So I think I was up about 12:15, but I had to fight to do that. I felt really ill. So then it was nauseous, very nauseous, and actually it felt like anxiety, and I wasn't really sure what it was. Bodhi helped a little bit, but I was kind of not in it. And I went out there, looked at it for a minute, and then I just decided to come back in and go to sleep. And I slept through the whole thing. And I was bummed about that, actually, because I wanted to get up and do some things during it, but I don't know. It's kind of weird that I got sick, and I still feel a little uneasy. It's nausea. It's like, and then I have a little sniffle, but it is what it is. It's been feeling like that really the last couple days. Yesterday was very slow at work. I had one customer, and like I said, my stomach's a little uneasy. Everything's just been kind of weird. It'll all work out, but I am a little uneasy just from the atmosphere. We're about halfway through March, and this should be a huge weekend. So I am well rested, other than the nausea thing, and I'm just going to drink some water and eat some fruit and some yogurt. And I need to make sure I flush myself out, so I'll probably do some of all that. I'm not trying to be bummed. I'm trying to get myself up. It's still, so I slept a weird sleep pattern, and now I'm a little bit under the gun because I'm usually doing these videos much earlier in the morning. But I thought I would fit this in. I wasn't even going to do one, and then I was like, it's the eclipse. I should write my aftermath of the eclipse. I think I have a pretty good feel for the floor on my store where I'm at, and like I said, I expect a big weekend. So, and if I don't, I still have karaoke to look forward to, and I have Bodhi. What an amazing gift for me, truly, Bodhi has been. When you stand on your own for long enough, and you go through a lot of different things, and you really don't have anybody to lean on, you learn how to just stand and find ways to lean on your own body. And then, I'm not trying to doom and gloom this, and I did have help, but it did seem for a stretch there where I didn't have much. And it wasn't it was just the reality of my situation. So when you're in that, you have to learn how to do whatever you can. You shorten segments of your life, is what I found is the easiest thing to do, is you figure out what you're going to focus on, like your moment, how big of a moment you want to make it. And you just work on that moment for now. So when it's really difficult, you're just looking to, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you're just looking for the basic needs. And then, so I mean, there's truth in all of these different things. Anyways, that's how I found is the best way to do it, though. But when you're there, it does seem like when it's needed, something happens that will show you which way to go. And that's what I would call the way is. It's the sound of the tree that falls in the forest that no one heard but you. Hey, I like that. That was pretty poetic. I just did that on the cuff. It's strange, though, what my big point of this whole thing is like there's chapters of your life, or my life now recently, that I've noticed. Is like you go through these segments of time, like, all right, so right now we have this going on, and we don't really know what's going to happen until after this finishes. And then after this finishes, there's another thing going on. And that's just kind of, and it's sometimes blended in a bunch of different And so the more you're involved with other people, the more you have to go. And then I did want to nail on one thing. Sometimes I was thinking about this because I was thinking about a lot of the interview. I had an interview with a bunch of people, and I didn't say much in it, and not much was said to me, but there were a lot of different minds working at once. And I go back and think about it. And one of the points I wanted to say is sometimes management leads you to counterintuitive. Like, I have intuition, and in sales, you really want to follow your intuition. It helps you to be more successful, I found. And sometimes, and this isn't just in sales, this is just in life in general, when you get put into situations where whoever has the power over you makes you do something that's counterintuitive. I wanted to nail on that because I've never really thought about it, but I think that's where a lot of anger comes from, is like somebody tells you you have to do it this way, and you're like, but I feel like it's supposed to be this way, but you don't have the ability to say, unless you just say, F you, I'm not doing it that way. I feel like this is the way I should do it. And when you don't get to do that, even if you're wrong, it is frustrating to anybody, I would think. Especially if you really feel corely that that's the way that it should be done. So I think that's where frustration comes from. And that's where the eclipse of the heart is. I just made that up. I don't know if there's a connection. But the chapters. So that's why I kind of name my videos. I name each video with like a theme, because I think that's what it is like you go through these different segments of moments. And like I said, a moment can be boom, or a moment can be like a whole thing, a trip, or a work environment. When one person's there and one leaves us, there's different seasons. There seems to be segments of time with a general theme associated that just comes with it. Sorry, whether it's named or not. Like there's a big promotion coming available in work. Everybody acts different. And all the busy bees are buzzing around the queen when there still is honey to be made. The bee's knees. I started thinking about the bee's knees. And then I was like, do bees have knees? And I think it's silly that I really equated knees with your kneecap, but that's not. It's your cap. That's your kneecap. Your knee is actually the joint. I didn't actually realize that. So bees do have knees. Yeah, but why is there a K in it? Why is there a silent K? There's still something there. The bee's knees, I like it though. We built this city. I sing that song a lot. That is a theme. There's a couple theme songs in my life. I talked about this to a friend of mine a long time ago. It was like at the very early stages of me getting into Facebook, and Facebook Messenger was a thing, and I started messaging with old friends, and I talked to him about having a theme song for your life. And then I actually did it. I put on my phone the Karate Kid song, "You're the best around." Yeah, I put that on my ringtone so that when people called me, I get reminded I'm the best around. I did have a thing about that, and when I first put that on, boy, I went off at work. It was really cool. I embodied it. But so that's one. And there's just the crane and all that. Even though it was stupid, it was kind of cool. We built this city. That's a big one though. We built this city on rock and roll. I think that there was a connection to the Karate Kid and that song because of the Hot 9 at 9. I think that there was a theme song for the Karate Kid, and I think it might have been Karate Kid 2. I may be tying this together not right, but I feel like there's a connection between We Built This City and one of the theme songs on the Hot 9 at 9, and they were jockeying for position. And I liked both of them. The Hot 9 at 9 was a different thing. So listen, kids, what would happen is, past your bedtime, 9 o'clock, no, it wouldn't be. It'd be, it was at night. There would be the Hot 9 at 9. They'd play 9 songs, the best 9 songs of what was going on at the time. So you would stay up and listen to the Hot 9 at 9. And you wanted to listen to the final song to see if your song was there, but you usually knew, like, if it was, unless it was a big song. But anyways, this was a thing. That's when I started to first really kind of get into music. I do need to practice my songs. One of the things I like about the karaoke thing too is I'm starting to go back into some nostalgic songs, and I really like doing that and singing them because I sang them then, and now I'm older. And it's fun to sing them in karaoke because a lot of people resonate with some of the old songs that I sing. So I don't think I'm sad, but I do feel sad a lot. I think it's the missing of my daughters that just hides underneath everything that I do. And I ask God daily if I'm going down the right path, because obviously I'm not where I want to be, where my heart wants to be. I have always been a high performer at work. My performance was undeniable from most of the time when I've been in a performance-driven business. I rose to leadership. I enjoyed being the leader, but I wasn't really very good at it. Other than being a high performer, which is infectious. So I would leave a lot of holes in my management because I wasn't a very good manager. I'm not a great manager of my life, so you put me in charge of other things. And so, but I was a high performer, so whenever you're in a numbers business, your numbers always are the one that trumps. I like using that trump thing recently. In golf, you got to play to your competition. So you often do. You don't have to, but you often play to your competition. And I love playing with better players. I always play better. I think, and I enjoyed that too, to strive. I always thought I could be as good as anyone that I was playing with. No, you don't. You run into, maybe in the beginning, but you definitely run into places where you're like, that's different than me, but it's fun to watch. And I think that's good for this video, is what I did. And then I kept going. So let's keep going. I'm trying not to be sad because I have good reason to be sad. And when good things happen to me, I try not to enjoy them too much because I'm supposed to be sad. And when more things happen that make me even sadder, when there's not anything, the big thing is like, there's not too much that would make me sadder than what has already been done. So I'm about as sad as you could be. It's not funny, but when you know basically that's it. So deep sadness is really just kind of numbness. And that's where I found, I think, in the numbness, comfortably numb, Pink Floyd, is where you find faith. Because you feel, for me, I put my faith in prayer, and I wasn't a big believer, but I definitely think as I have gotten my wrists better, and I still want to get to where I want to be able to have these both up aligned. And I'm getting there. This is much better than it was. I've been pushing on this and pushing on that to get there. But there's different things like that and that. I mean, there's a lot to it. So then that's what I found. I started thinking about things in different ways than I ever would have thought, because you just feel like you want to make sure you check every direction when you're on the bottom floor of the basement and make sure you didn't miss anything. Because once you're down there, you're like, oh, and sometimes you stay down there for a while. So you're just like, oh, I'm stuck down here. Let's make sure there's nowhere else. And sometimes you find places that make you feel good. And it's usually cooler. I don't know where I'm going with all this. It's kind of a analogy. But you just basically, you listen for guidance, and that's what you do. And then it just comes. Even in the midst, and so that's in like the most silent and dark place. You wait for a drop of water, or you wait for the wind to blow, those kinds of things, or a dog to bark. And you're like, oh, a dog. But that is kind of what I think is and then you let your intuition and instinct tell you where to go. But even in that, to the most chaotic, when everything is swirling and all the colors and everything that's coming at you at one time, I believe that you can still find, and I think that that might be where that third eye thing is. I think that you can almost take your vision instead of here to there. I know this sounds, but I think that you can. You don't have to close your eyes, and I think that's what people do, is they just like, well, even in the middle. And then when you do that, it's like everything, you figure out which one to focus on right now. But you have it, but I don't know. I don't actually do that, but I think that that's what you might be able to get to. So there are many ways to take. And I think in the end, there's the one you take, and then the ones that you leave, which is infinite. It truly doesn't matter, though. Okay, now I'm done. That doesn't make any sense, right? If you can't see or hear the Tao, this is my advice. Try and feel it, or smell it, or taste it. The Tao is great. Do great. Be great. Be grateful, even when you're empty. I think that's my end. Have a great day today, guys. It is it's the 14th. That's a big number. It's March. We just had an eclipse, and lunar eclipse. And regardless of what you think scientifically, there is a whole bunch of other things. Most people are starting to become aware that there is an infectious, impactual stuff that happens when these lunar and solar phenomenons happen. There's something that happens. So just try to watch for that. It will be different. So it's a different chapter, I think, different season. So have a great day out there. Do great, be great.